Welcome to the Astrology Show with your host, Kelly Fox. Each week, Kelly will give you access to the current transits that are a valuable tool which provide astrological information to help unlock the potential each of us has through our sun sign. Understanding the current planetary influences each week can help steer us in the right direction to make better informed choices. Sometimes events in your life may seem completely random, but there is a pattern to the order of these events, one set in motion in part by you and in part by the planets and stars in the sky and their influence on your life here on Earth. So if you're wondering what's going to happen in your week ahead, if you're going to get that promotion, move to a new city, or fall in love, tune in to the Astrology Show for guidance. It can help you anticipate problems before they occur, give you tools to cope with changes, and help you look forward to the wonderful days ahead. Kelly Fox is a professional astrologer and internet pioneer who launched astrology.com, one of the first and most successful astrology websites. Today, her passion lies with her new site, theastrologer.com, where she brings a modern-day approach to an ancient wisdom. Please join Kelly each week to learn more about how the planets can align for you.
Hi there, and welcome to the Astrology Show. I am your host and astrologer, Kelly Fox, and I'm going to be talking about the planets this week, and more specifically, the show is dedicated to all you Capricorns out there because the Sun moves into Capricorn on Friday, which also coincidentally ties into, or not coincidentally, but it also ties into the solstice. And if you are in the Northern Hemisphere, you will be celebrating the Winter Solstice. And if you are in the Southern Hemisphere, you will be celebrating the Summer Solstice. Also this week we have a full moon in Cancer. But without further ado, I will get started as Capricorn prefers. No fluffy stuff, just get straight to the point. So the Sun moving into Capricorn is happening this Friday, December 21st, where it will be through January 20th. Now, what can we all expect while the Sun is in Capricorn? Well, typically, and I know this time period at the end of the year, it's not really when we're sort of gung-ho and we're feeling driven to succeed and we're thinking about our ambitions. We're really focused on family and, celebrating the end of the year. But really part of that is, what are we doing next year? What are we looking to do and achieve in 2019? So if you do have some Capricorn influences in your chart, then this will resonate. If not, just appreciate the Capricorns in your life. So when the Sun is in Capricorn, and this is going to be this Friday through January 20th, we could be working longer and overtime. And I don't really mean sort of during the peak of the holiday period, although perhaps, again, depending on how much Capricorn influence you have in your natal chart. And if you don't know how much Capricorn you have in your chart, then go to my website, get a free chart wheel, and you can follow along each week to find out how the planets each week are affecting you and your natal chart. And the web address is theastrologer.com. And then you'll find a free chart wheel under the astrology menu. So typically with the influence of Capricorn, which is a very ambitious sign and is a sign that really likes to have long-term goals and plans. So a lot of Capricorns will work very, very hard to succeed and to reach their goals, and sometimes at the cost of everything else in their life. So they're quite driven to get the job done. So when we're all under this influence for the next few weeks, we might also be striving hard to get the job, whatever the job may be. Typically we think of professional life, but, you know, if you're having a big holiday party or a big holiday celebration, then that's a big project to undertake as well. So you'd be striving to get the job done. But you've got to be careful with this influence of Capricorn to not sacrifice too much and only work to your own definition of success and maybe not someone else's, although don't say that to your boss. And so, during this influence, you might feel like you're under a lot of pressure from within yourself or an authority figure, a boss, a parent, an inner authority figure. This is a time when we need to take care of our responsibilities. That's another key word here for this time of year. Taking care of our responsibilities and being able to respond or feeling tested or really sort of what's going to be asked of us is to prioritize what's important. But be careful about being overly rigid or controlling. And remember that asking for support when you need it is a sign of strength and not weakness. So, and if you can keep a sense of humor about you at this time of year, so much the better as well. This is a great time to get organized and improve functionality of systems and structures in your life. Big tasks can be tackled with a step-by-step, methodical, pragmatic approach. And then once you get started with this influence, many of us will have the perseverance and the persistence and stamina needed to see through completion. We might find as well at this time with this influence, our standards are pretty high right now. So it's sort of like, that's why baby steps are going to be really important. And if you think of the symbol, and I will talk about what it means to be a Capricorn a bit later, but if you think of the symbol of Capricorn, which is the mountain goat, and how the mountain goat starts at the very bottom of the mountain and takes, step-by-step approach to get to the very top. But really, actually, the symbol of Capricorn is actually the sea goat, which is even more of a daunting task, to go from the very bottom of the ocean right up to the very top of the mountain. I mean, that's just not a regular old mountain goat. That's a goat with a mermaid's tail. That's the symbol of Capricorn. The first half is the goat, the back part is like this mermaid's tail, and that represents the task or the endurance of Capricorn, and how they start with small steps, working towards long-term goals. And it doesn't have to be in a professional capacity. It could be anything really. It's sort of like once Capricorn sets their mind to something, then they will just keep going step by step until they achieve whatever it is they deem as success or any sort of long-term goal. Now, the aspects or the influences the sun will be making while it's in Capricorn, I've broken it down here day by day. And starting January 1st, which is really interesting because January 1st is typically a time when we're thinking about the new year. We're making our New Year's resolutions, breaking bad habits, taking a step forward into positive new habits. And the interesting thing for 2019 is January 1st, the sun in Capricorn will conjunct or come together with Saturn in Capricorn. Now, Saturn is the ruling planet of Capricorn. And so you've got this flow here, some harmony, but at the same time, Sun conjunct Saturn really takes on a very serious tone. There's a lot of energy around self-discipline and ambition and working hard, even though it's the first January 1st, and people are typically recovering from the New Year's Eve celebrations. It's sort of like there's a serious tone to the start of 2019, and that's with this influence of the Sun conjuncting Saturn in Capricorn. So it's all about individual responsibility. So if you're thinking about your New Year's resolutions, I strongly urge you to take on responsibility. Add that to your list of resolutions or the things that you might want to change or incorporate into your life. Taking on responsibility, taking care of responsibility, and having long-term goals and long-term plans. And if it's, be it, like for 2019, 5-year, 10-year, 20-year, that sort of thing. So we might find that at the start of 2019, we're more focused now than usual, self-managing and even ready to tackle mundane tasks that we probably would ordinarily avoid. So 2019 is a time for, just taking on the things that we've sort of been putting aside. So, and we don't want to squander our energy. So, we're going to work hard at what we start at the very start of the year. So, we're working more effectively and efficiently. And if there's any sort of business meetings the first week of January, they will go quite well, especially if you're articulating any sort of goals or formulating plans and time frames for achieving those goals. So time frame is another key word here with the Sun conjuncting Saturn January 1st. So it's like, the Sun moves into Capricorn this Friday, December 21st. We've got a bit of a reprieve for a week, everybody's thinking about the holidays. And then when 2019 comes around, it's sort of like, we all hit the ground running. And of course, it depends where this influence of Sun conjunct Saturn sits in your natal chart. If you're an Earth sign, this is like music to your ears. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. If you are a cardinal sign, Aries, Cancer, Libra, it might be a little bit challenging, the start of the year with these pretty heavily weighted, responsible energies going on. So it's sort of like, we want to be off having a good time, but really we've got to take care of business. That's really a key message here with the first aspect that the Sun in Capricorn will make. January 1st, Sun conjunct Saturn. But really, if we're prepared to roll up our sleeves and work hard, we will see the results. Don't expect instant results with these types of influences, but results nonetheless. And then on January 4th, we've got the Sun in Capricorn forming a really nice sextile to Neptune. So this is sort of like making dreams a reality. And it's quite a soft energy, but because it's in Capricorn, it's a bit more grounded and practical. Typically, people usually, when the Sun comes together with Neptune in a soft aspect like a sextile, people typically find themselves, very sensitive, compassionate, intuitive, romantic, spiritual, that type of thing. But in this case, it's sort of like we're a bit more realistic because of this energy, the energy of the Capricorn Sun coming together very nicely with creative Neptune. And again, if you're thinking about New Year's resolutions, it'd be good to incorporate any sort of creative expression or meditation or spiritual practice into your New Year's resolutions and make them sort of like a routine throughout your life for the coming year and onwards. So there's this very strong energy of not just the Sun conjuncting Saturn, but the Sun sextiling Neptune. And then on January 5th, which I've talked about a fair bit the past few shows, January 5th, we have a solar eclipse in Capricorn, and that's when the Sun comes together with the Moon. That's from our perspective here on Earth. So what a way to start 2019 with not only is it just Capricorn energy, which takes a very serious and somber sort of tone, but, we've got these pretty heavy-hitting aspects. And then, of course, the solar eclipse in Capricorn on January 5th. So, and I will talk a lot about that, the very first show in January, which will be January 7th. So on January 5th, we've got this solar eclipse in Capricorn, Sun and Moon conjunct. And so, of course, this is very intense energy. It's it's all about new beginnings because it's a supercharged new moon that's coming about, very beginning of 2019. So what it will do is, and again, I come back to the New Year's resolutions, but the influence of the Capricorn solar eclipse on January 5th, it'll help us evaluate the priorities in our life. So it's like what's important and what isn't. And the things that are important to us are what we will strive towards. And the things that are not important are the things that we will let go. And so, as I said, if you're a cardinal sign, it might be a little bit more difficult to let go, Aries, Cancer, and Libra. But if you're an earth sign or have any earth planets, it's going to be a lot easier to embrace the new, Taurus, even though Taurus is a fixed sign, typically not good at change, but in this case with the push of the solar eclipse January 5th, it's a fantastic time to really make the changes that we've been wanting or needing in our lives. So with this solar eclipse in Capricorn on January 5th, it's sort of like re-examining or what we really want in our life. Typically, it may be around our professional lives, but really anything that on a long-term basis, especially with these influences. So it's sort of like we might be pondering these questions as we start 2019 with, what does the future really hold for us? And we're taking that question a lot more seriously than what maybe many of us have ever done before. So it's like if you realize that you aren't thrilled about getting up in the morning, maybe it is time for a change. Like maybe it's time to really have the life that, we deserve or that we've worked hard for. So it will be important at the start of the year with all this Capricorn influence to give consideration to your work and your work environment and, what you want for the rest of your life, which might sound like a really big, huge thing. But again, take it step by step and use the symbol of Capricorn. Use the mountain goat that takes it one step at a time, or the sea goat even, one step at a time. So it's like, let's not be afraid to try something completely different with this energy of the first week of January, or this Capricorn energy. It's sort of like it's time to make dreams a reality. So, and then on January 11th, we've got, just to follow all that up, we've got the Sun conjuncting Pluto. Now, this is really, really intense energy. So the Sun and Pluto come together in Capricorn. This is super intense, and I'm definitely repeating this on the January 7th show, the first show of 2019. It's worth repeating. We're going to take a short break, so stay tuned.
Conscious media for conscious minds. OMTimes.
OMTimes magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Connect at omtimes.com. OMTimes, creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Hello, I'm Sandy Sedgbeer, host of OMTimes magazine's flagship radio show, What is Going On. My passion is sifting through information, research, and innovations from new thought teachers, speakers, and researchers pushing back the boundaries of what we know about life, energy, metaphysics, and the universe. I love shifting perceptions about who we are, why we're here, and how quickly impossible becomes normal when we open our minds, expand our awareness, and accept that the only limits that exist are those we place upon ourselves. So if you're the kind of forward-thinking, eager investigator of what lies beyond the current reality that most perceive, why not make a date to come play with me in the field of possibilities at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time every Thursday, and together we can discover what's really going on.
Hi, this is New Age Grammy winner Paul Avgerinos. Thanks for listening to OMTimes Radio, and please support my peaceful healing music with a purchase at iTunes, Amazon, or wherever you shop for fine music. Just put my name into the search engine, Paul Avgerinos. A, V like Victor, G like George, E-R-I-N-O-S. You can also visit me at roundskymusic.com. Thanks for listening, and I'm wishing you the brightest of blessings.
Imagine being fired because of who you love. Imagine being denied medical treatment because of who you marry. Imagine being evicted because of who you are. Millions of Americans don't have to imagine this. They have to live it. Because in 31 states, it's legal to discriminate against LGBT people. Get the facts at beyondido.org. Brought to you by the Guild Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hi there, and welcome back to the Astrology Show. I am your host and astrologer Kelly Fox, talking about the planets this week, and this show is dedicated to all you sea goats out there. You're probably thinking, if you didn't catch the first part of that show, what is a sea goat? It is a symbol of Capricorn, so this show is all about Capricorn with a little other few things thrown in here and there. So just before the break, I was saying that the sun moving into Capricorn is going to happen this Friday, December 21st, same time as the solstice, as it is every year. And just talking about how the influence of the sun in Capricorn and what it's doing until it stays in Capricorn until, let me see here, until January 20th. So there's going to be a lot of powerful, intense energy. January 1st, we've got the Sun conjunct Saturn, which is all about responsibility. Then on the 4th, the Sun sextiles Neptune, which sort of gives us a grounded spirituality. On the 5th, January 5th, we've got a solar eclipse in Capricorn, so it's all about big new beginnings for long-term sort of planning and professional life. And then January 11th, just to add to that very intense mix of energies, January 11th, we've got the Sun conjunct Pluto in Capricorn. This is probably one of the most intense energies that we can have. So it's like it could be, information coming to the surface. And so it's so important that we take care of our responsibilities, that we add responsibility to our to-do list or to our New Year's resolutions. It's sort of like embrace responsibility. Don't sort of turn away from it or take shortcuts. It's like, really see something through to the end or have our long-term plans in place, for when the year turns over. So this is a very powerful energy, Sun conjunct Pluto. It's sort of like we're not afraid to roll our sleeves up and get on with it. So this gives us all a boost when the Sun conjuncts Pluto in Capricorn. And then on the 18th, as the Sun is moving towards Aquarius, the Sun will square Uranus. Now, this is quite an irritable, restless sort of energy, and the calm and steady Sun in Capricorn forming a challenging square to Uranus in volatile Aries, or I should say volatile Uranus in volatile Aries. So it's sort of like you've got the calm and steady versus volatility. So that's happening January 18th. And so it's very unpredictable, this type of energy, and not sure of what consequences will be with any sort of willful behaviour. So, defiance and indiscretion are sort of keywords of this, disruptions, impatience versus patience, and we let typically impatience get the better of us. Accidents can happen quickly under this sort of dramatic energy. And people won't want to feel pinned down when the Sun forms a square to Uranus. So it's going to be very important, again, especially for the cardinal signs, Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, that there's no risk-taking around that time because we're not sure of the repercussions. So more about Capricorn. Capricorn is the 10th sign of the zodiac, and it is symbolized by, really it's symbolized by the sea goat that you'll hear astrologers reference the goat or the mountain goat. So if you use the symbol of the mountain goat, you think about this little mountain goat always climbing to the top of the mountain, ever ascending to the heights of their ambitions. Typically it's career, but it could be anything that Capricorn deems a goal or an ambition. So Capricorns are known to be hard workers. Capricorns are the CEO CEO of the zodiac. And they are very hard workers who will start at the very bottom, like the bottom of the mountain, and work their way up to the very top. Or anybody that has any sort of strong Capricorn influence in their chart. It's not necessarily someone that has the sun in Capricorn. So Capricorns are very hard workers, and they feel a sense of security with a healthy bank balance, but then I say, well, who doesn't? And sometimes, not all Capricorns, but some need to impress others with their accomplishments. Capricorn is a cardinal earth sign, and they've got the perseverance necessary to get stuff done. They're really not much for risk-taking, except if it's the calculated type, and sometimes calculated and recalculated. That's the sort of risk that a Capricorn will take. Now, Capricorns, as I said, like to work hard, and they like to see return for their effort. So Capricorns typically, as I said, they're the CEO of the zodiac, and they have an eye for the bottom line. So most Capricorns are very business savvy, because that's the nature of the sign. So, as I said, a Capricorn may take a low-paying position as a stepping stone to something higher paid and more prestigious in the future. Those stories that you hear, maybe not so much nowadays, but back in the day, they started off as in the mail room of a big corporation, and then they're running the corporation. That's the sort of energy of Capricorn. And if you think of the corporation as the mountain and the Capricorn as the goat, then you've sort of got it down. So Capricorn is a conscientious and hard-working sign. As I said, it's ruled by Saturn. Saturn is the taskmaster planet that really urges discipline in all endeavours. So sometimes Capricorn can be a bit of a stick in the mud, adhering to the plan or the routine. They are very devoted to a cause or, aka their ambition. So Capricorn typically, it's very black and white. Again, this is typical. Very black and white sign, not much time for nonsense. There's just too much to be done to get to where they're going. And you find that a lot of Capricorns have a lot of inner pressure from themselves, or, that voice in their head from, an authority from the past, because, Saturn is the planet of authority. So that's the ruling planet of Capricorn. So really what Capricorn wants is success, however that is defined. Typically, Capricorn, it means succeeding in the world of finance or business, boardrooms, banks, that type of thing. Capricorn has a very strong administrative capacity, willingness to work long hours, sense of responsibility, that they will meet their goals and probably exceed them. Maybe other Capricorns find success in leading a spiritual life, transcending the earth as much as possible, but they will do it in some sort of structured way, and also depending on the other planets in the chart. So whatever the case may be, Capricorn usually has a strong inner parent, and one who is stern, demanding, and unforgiving. A lot of Capricorns have had a lot of responsibility at an early age, which has made them grow up and mature before their time. So there's an old saying about Capricorn people: they're old when they're young and young when they're old. So life gets better for Capricorn as they get older. And so, Capricorn can achieve the best of both worlds, success and self-respect, that they've earned through hard work and achievement, yet the ability to remain youthful and flexible. How good does that sound? Now, planets in Capricorn. I'm going to run through what it means to have all the planets in Capricorn. And so if you have a planet in Capricorn in your natal chart, this is applicable to you. So if you have the moon in Capricorn, this is interesting because the moon is all about emotions. And so it's sort of like there might be some sort of denial of emotion or a strict adherence to the patterns of emotion. There could be some sort of coldness there that you receive from your parents, and maybe a resolution to overcome that through hard work and achievement. It's sort of like if your moon is in Capricorn, one or both of your parents or an authority figure may have pushed you really hard, sort of like tough love. So it's like sometimes with moon in Capricorn, the attachment to traditional models of doing well in the world prevents any sort of feeling from emerging. So it's sort of like meaning show of weakness or just get on with it and forget about how you're feeling type of thing. So it's like you might be very concerned with appearances, wanting respect for your serious demeanour. And there's some sort of aloofness or coldness with the Capricorn moon. So it's sort of like things in your life might be carefully constructed in order to sort of like, you might feel like you're standing on a house of cards if somebody really sort of lurks beneath the surface. So, maybe your difficulty might be letting go of old habits and very, very sort of like tied to methods or conservative approaches in some way with the Capricorn moon. Mercury in Capricorn, your thinking is methodical. And you consider information in a very organised and efficient manner, putting every bit of information in its proper place. And perhaps you might only be interested in learning something if it will have practical benefits. And if you want to learn something, you might be quite self-directed in your education. And so it's like developing the necessary skills to get to where you're going. It's all about mastering something with Mercury in Capricorn. So a systematic approach works best for someone with Mercury. Mercury is a planet of the mind and communication. So it works, Mercury in Capricorn, a systematic approach for learning processes and any sort of work tasks. And also breaking something down into smaller parts. Just come back to the mountain goat, climbing the mountain step by step. So anybody that has any Capricorn influence, that's sort of one way to take on something. So if you, it's good to always have like a step-by-step plan to get to where you're going. And there's a lot of dedication and a strong sense of responsibility, no matter really what planet you have in Capricorn. And again, mentioned before, Capricorns make excellent administrators. Venus in Capricorn. Now, Venus is the planet of love, so there's a rather serious tone when it comes to relationships. Sometimes Venus in Capricorn can be quite shy, reserved, afraid to demonstrate their affection, in case they risk unrequited love. So there's a strong sense of restriction in the way you approach relationships. You're not quite sure of yourself or whether the object of your affection will return your feelings. You might be feeling nervous. So with Venus in Capricorn, it's like what makes you happy is devoting yourself to taking care of a partner and a very strong sense of commitment from both sides. So working hard to develop your confidence in your relationships will help you a lot. And with Venus in Capricorn, it's very much about, it's sort of like when it comes to money, because Venus is the planet of love and money, there is no sense in displaying a poverty consciousness. You will be more successful and attract more money with confidence than you will with any sort of reticence. So you're not sort of likely to spend on anything frivolous unless there's something else in the chart that indicates that. Mars in Capricorn is a very strong placement. Mars is exalted in Capricorn. It's a very good influence. And I've seen this lately in my readings for some reason. So Mars in Capricorn, you're a paragon of ambition, ambition and hard work. Maybe at an early age you knew exactly what you wanted to do and worked hard to achieve it. So this built some backbone and good work habits at a young age. So always ambitious. And probably you are so far ahead of the crowd, but, and it doesn't mean that you have to be the fastest runner. It just means you need to be the smartest runner. So, And if something, knocks you down, you'll be able to brush yourself up and get back on track. So that's really good with Mars in Capricorn. And you're not easily defeated by any sort of situation or circumstance. But you are so serious it may be difficult for you to relax and enjoy yourself. So that's the only thing with Mars in Capricorn. And definitely being competitive, that's for sure. Now, Jupiter in Capricorn, and Jupiter will be in Capricorn this time next year. So it will be affecting a lot of other planets. But again, you've got to tune in all year until you get to next year's show when I talk about Jupiter in Capricorn. So anybody that has Jupiter in Capricorn, you probably have big ideas about how the world ought to operate, and will be stifled by restrictive and confining beliefs, sometimes your own, but your mind will hunger for knowledge and you're willing to work hard and learn the subjects you're interested in to help you get ahead. And you'll feel best about yourself if you have an educational degree, which serves not only as a recognition for your academic achievement, but also for the status and respect it brings. That's very crucial to someone that has Jupiter in Capricorn. But your biggest challenge is to avoid being restricted by tradition. That's definitely one that will need to be mastered with this placement. Saturn in Capricorn. Now, this is an interesting placement because Saturn in Capricorn. Saturn is Capricorn's ruling planet, so this is a very good combination. But there are certain things that you take more seriously than everyone else, and the areas that you find important are pretty much non-negotiable. So there are certain boundaries beyond which you will not go, and specific behaviours that you won't tolerate in yourself or in others. So you can sort of be repressive in yourself and other people. And your inner parent is a very strong influence on you that can both restrict and confine you. But it does drive you to excel and work hard to achieve your goals. So it's sort of like, whipping yourself on the back type of thing. It's not all negative, but it's very much about, relax and chill out a bit with this placement. All right, we're going to take a break, so stay tuned.
The Real Conscious Connection. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free. AscendingHearts.com.
Looking for inspiration?
Want to be inspired?
Not sure where to go?
Find Mark and Kim every Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern on Inspired Living.
Topics will elevate consciousness and range from metaphysics to the human and social experience and all things spiritual.
Welcome to an inspired community that offers support, encouragement, and new ways of thinking. You are the inspired and the inspiration.
Hi, this is recording artist and composer Yuval Ran, inviting you to a voyage through the chakras, a new double album of guided meditations to transform your life. A sublime musical medicine for nourishing inner peace and reaching to your higher virtues. Get it now at metamindfulnessmusic.com. METTA mindfulnessmusic.com.
I can't believe he found them.
He seems sorry.
We very clearly told him not to look up there.
I'm honestly impressed that he was able to do it.
Right? But did he balance on that big chair?
Yeah, I mean, I guess he'll just know what his gifts are this year.
I really thought we had hidden them well.
If they can find their presence, they can find a gun.
911, what is your emergency?
Every day, 8 kids and teens are unintentionally killed or injured by loaded and unlocked guns. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and End Family Fire.
Hi there, welcome back to the Astrology Show. I am your host and astrologer, Kelly Fox, dedicating tonight's show to Capricorn, all you Capricorns out there, all you sea goat, mountain goats out there. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is thought of as the taskmaster planet because of its stern and sometimes guilt-inspiring influence in our lives. As a comparison, Venus and Jupiter make life easier and more fun, yet Saturn keeps us in check, reminding us that all play and no work would leave us both homeless and penniless. So if you're a Capricorn and you can relate, you can blame that all on Saturn. And if you relate to the feeling that you're not working hard enough in life, well, that is Saturn again. So this planet does operate like a parental figure, and one that can be a little too severe at times. So after all, there is certainly a time and a place to be carefree and to forget your responsibilities and to just enjoy yourself. But it looks like when the sun is in Capricorn, December 21st through January 20th, that is not the time to be carefree. Okay, it's a holiday period. I'm half joking. So with Saturn, and especially January 1st with the sun conjuncting Saturn in Capricorn, that is not a time to be carefree. That is a time to take care of your responsibilities. And also the night before, New Year's Eve, be very responsible. I feel like a TV ad saying that. But with Saturn, it can feel quite restrictive. And some of us might even feel rebellious in response to its limiting effects, but that is not the way to go. Because Saturn does serve an important purpose. It's keeping us on track in life and helping us move towards our karmic destiny. Because Saturn is about karma. Now, this is the ruler of Capricorn, Sun moving into Capricorn on Friday. So Saturn is the planet with a conscience, and it's one that reminds us that even when we don't want to hear it, that everything we do has a cumulative effect on our soul. So this is what keeps Capricorn in check, is this ruling planet that they have, Saturn. So Saturn urges us to take things seriously and buckle down and get back to work. So Saturn, you might have heard of the Saturn return. It's probably one of the biggest events or biggest cycles in the astrological world, and it's the cycle of Saturn through each sign of the zodiac, which takes approximately 29 and a half years. And so, according to astrologers, at 29 and a half, we officially become adults. That's because Saturn has taught us the karmic lessons of each sign of the zodiac. Saturn spends about 2.5 years in each sign. Now, Capricorn is an earth sign. So the other earth signs are Taurus and Virgo. So Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, the earth signs of the zodiac. And typically they like to lay a solid foundation on which to build. So the earth signs are down to earth, practical, pragmatic, usually serving as the rock in the circle of family and friends. And they don't really fluctuate too much emotionally or otherwise. So earth signs know how to work hard and apply themselves, even to tasks that would make other people throw up their hands in frustration. Earth signs are big believers in slow and steady wins the race, and they're willing to put their nose to the grindstone. And earth signs tend to be concerned with value, both monetary and sentimental. And Capricorn's a little bit less sentimental than the other signs, Taurus and Virgo. But typically the earth signs are very good with finances. Now, Capricorn is also a cardinal sign, and the cardinal signs are the self-starters of the zodiac, and the cardinal signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and, of course, Capricorn. And they usually take the role of leader, no matter where it is, not just in the work environment. So I always say that the cardinal signs are the trendsetters of the zodiac. So cardinal signs are very good at guiding others, marshalling the troops. They can rouse up people and get people going, excited about a new project. So as long as, you know, the cardinal sign is head of operations, everything will run smoothly. And cardinal signs do have a lot of energy for getting something off the ground, but not necessarily a lot of follow through to see something through to the end. So next I'm going to move on to, because there was so much to say about Capricorn, I'm going to move on to Capricorn compatibility, and I'm going to whiz through that really quickly just so I can get through all 12 combinations. So Capricorn and Aries are both cardinal signs, and at first glance you seem like you have nothing in common because Aries loves taking risks while Capricorn loves to plan far, far, far into the future. But you do have something in common, and that's you're both driven and ambitious and approach life with a single-minded intensity. But your values are quite different because Aries tends to switch tracks much more often than Capricorn. Capricorn and Taurus are both earth signs, so you make a really, really, really great combination. In fact, you could be a power duo if you put your mind to it. Which, knowing Capricorn, is probably already in the works. So being earth signs, you share industrious, conservative natures, and your relationship does get better with age. But it may focus on the material side of life, like a gorgeous home, plenty of money, expensive cars. What's wrong with that? I don't really know. Capricorn, Gemini, you two have in common, I guess, your dry sense of humor and your resourcefulness. Other than that, there's not really a whole lot you have in common. Capricorn's all about planning ahead and taking only calculated risks and being responsible, dutiful, and self-disciplined. Gemini, unless you've got something in Capricorn, I'm not sure you might recognize any of those traits. Capricorn, Cancer, the rule of the zodiac is opposites attract, so you make a great combination, particularly for the long term. That on the surface, Cancer is oriented towards home and hearth, while Capricorn is career oriented, but you do share traditional values and you're both highly security conscious. Cancer, you want emotional security, and Capricorn, you want financial and material security. So overall, a great match. Capricorn and Leo, you two share a karmic tie, and you'll feel it in the way you're deeply drawn to one another. You don't have a lot in common, although you do share some similarities. You're both ambitious, and you'll discuss your dreams and goals early on. You also both love living in the lap of luxury, make great leaders. So I think from the work point of view, if you've got your roles sorted out, everything will fall into place. Capricorn, Virgo, both earth signs. So when you first meet, you might realize right off that you've met your match. You share so many similar values and goals, it's hard not to feel as if your relationship was destined to be, and perhaps naturally move toward a long-term commitment, as neither of you tends to be superficial when it comes to romance. Capricorn can be a bit materialistic, but Virgo will appreciate your thrifty approaches to finances. Capricorn and Libra, both cardinal signs, you two are very different. You do both have expensive tastes, but Libra, you tend to be more artistically minded. Capricorn, you just like expensive things to show off that you can afford them. And Libra will appreciate your ambition because it pays the bills, but this Libra's sign toward extravagance could make you very uncomfortable. So if finances aren't an issue between you, it could be a mutually beneficial bond. Capricorn and Scorpio, you two make a good team. There's a lot of admiration and respect between you, and you're quite similar in your ambitious, security-seeking natures. You do share some fundamental values that strengthen your connection, and some negative traits too, controlling natures, rigid thinking. Scorpio, you're more emotionally intense, while Capricorn tends towards to be more aloof when it comes to emotions. But if you're working together toward a common goal, you're absolutely unbeatable. Capricorn and Sagittarius, if you two are able to form a relationship, it will have to be based on appreciating the many differences between you. You're pretty much opposite in nature. Sagittarius is unconventional, undisciplined, thrives on freedom and risk-taking, yet Capricorn is conservative, highly disciplined, values security. You could do well in business together, maybe. Capricorn, you two work hard at everything, including your relationship. So, of course, your sign is connected with Saturn, which means you're serious-minded, responsible, practical. You can depend on each other. You won't drain each other's wallets or emotions. You'll work together toward a common goal, shared ambitions. This could become a bit of a dry relationship, but you're so similarly driven that you may not even notice that. Capricorn Aquarius, you're both linked to Saturn, and your personalities could mean your connection will never be warm or close, but that doesn't mean you can't form a long-term bond. But it means that you might be somewhat separate and detached, no matter what path your relationship takes. This could work for you, especially if you share a common goal to pursue. You're both quite independent and undemonstrative, but once you make a commitment, you'll both see it through to the end. And finally, Capricorn and Pisces, you two complement each other really well. Capricorn's practical, materialistic nature paired with Pisces' emotional, sensitive one makes for a well-rounded team. But Capricorn, you might find yourself growing impatient at times, with Pisces being a bit wishy-washy, dreamy. And Pisces, you could be baffled by Capricorn's need for logic, efficiency, and security. But overall, a very good match. Okay, this week, I'm moving on really fast. This week we have the Winter Solstice in the Northern Hemisphere and the Summer Solstice in the Southern Hemisphere. So the Winter Solstice occurs December 21st or so when the Sun enters the sign of Capricorn. That means that the Sun rises and sets at the greatest southern distance from the equator, no matter which hemisphere you're in. And so this day marks the official beginning of the winter season with the longest night of the year and the shortest day. And of course, in the Southern Hemisphere, the opposite is true. With the winter solstice, which is a time of celebration, and there's a lot of celebrations going on at this time of year, Christmas, Hanukkah, St. Lucia's Day, just to name a few. There are many, many. So it's really, the winter solstice is one of those celebrations with traditional world holidays, usually associated with the Festival of Lights celebrations to honour the darkest or the longest day of the year. So it's a time when, cold climates, we prepare to hibernate, settle in for the season, long nights lead to rest, introspection, meditation, home cooking, recovery, sleep, study. This is why the solstice is so important. It's the start of a brand new cycle. And also this week we have full moon in Cancer. That's the 22nd, Saturday the 22nd. It's the day after the solstice and the Sun moving into Cancer. So with this full moon in Cancer, did I say the Sun moving into Cancer? I meant the Sun moving into Capricorn and the winter solstice in the Northern Hemisphere. Then Saturday the 22nd is full moon in Cancer. So full moon in Cancer, this is a nice time of year to have a full moon in Cancer. Of course, on the flip side, full moons are projections of our own behaviours that we don't want to own, so just be aware of that. Especially if you're a cardinal sign or have planets in cardinal signs, Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn. So full moon in Cancer is about developing a warmer, more loving spirit in your home, with the people you're close to, feeling a sense of contentment with the quality of people you have in your life. So it's a time of connecting with our clan, I think would be the best way to say it. And if you've been trying to establish a new home or improving the one that you have, your efforts should reveal themselves at this time of the full moon in Cancer. So it's connecting with people you really, really care about. Bless the corners of your home. That would be really important to really sort of honour and appreciate our home environment. And other influences this week, on Sunday, we had Venus sextile Saturn, which is a very nice influence for any sort of long-term commitment. That seems to be the theme of tonight's show. The key word is responsibility or commitment or long-term planning. That is definitely the key word here with all this Capricorn influence. And then, of course, yesterday, Venus sextile Saturn, Venus, the planet of love, brings an opportunity to Saturn, planet of long-term planning. So we can get a lot done at this time, especially with all this Capricorn influence. And work and labour are good focus for this energy of Venus sextile Saturn. Our affections might be strong, but our circumstances may limit our ability to express them. So it's sort of like find a practical and sensible way to realize your energy, your creative energy, your romantic energy, your financial energy. So once we have defined what we want with this energy, we can chart our course and implement a step-by-step plan to achieve our goals. As I said, financial, work-related, romantic. Great time for a savings account this week, and good time for starting off friendships. Also, we've got Mars sextile Pluto. Yes, we do. Venus sextile Saturn, Mars sextile Pluto. These aspects both occurred on Sunday, yesterday. So this is a really, really great energy. It's about seizing opportunities and taking action that will benefit more than just ourselves. This will ripple out and touch many other people with this influence. Change is good. That's the theme for Mars sextile Pluto. So it's like, think of it as an improvement and embrace it. And so we want to follow something through to the end, but just be careful of like rage coming up or hostility. It's good to have some sort of physical outlet. Many of us will be feeling very passionate with this energy, so make sure it's positive passion. Now, the big news here, which I nearly forgot and skipped over in my calendar, is on Thursday, we have the Sun forming a trine to Uranus. This means that we're up for anything at this time. Think outside the box, cutting edge and forward thinking. That's probably a great way to end the show. Be innovative, new perceptions, be a visionary, capitalize on technology or any sort of scientific solution. That's it from me. Wishing you the best for the holiday season, and be sure to tune in January 7th show to find out what's happening in 2019.